We're back to the Neil Haley Show, and I'm excited to welcome to the show Lori Lyons. And Lori's going to teach me marketing made simple because, again, the thing is, Lori, that marketing is something that everyone makes complicated, and it's not complicated. And the reason people make it complicated is there's so many layers to it, right?
Correct. And Neil, thank you for having me. But yes, it is. People, their minds get blown and their throat closes up. And when you talk about marketing, and it's like, no, make it simple, take it back. Let's talk about the three things that make it simple for you, and then everything feeds off of that.
Keep it simple. So how do we keep it simple? Because I mean, I sometimes in marketing, because I do multiple things for my agency, everything that it could just it becomes so overwhelming for somebody that doesn't understand what I understand. And that's the problem. Because
and it's not, and the interesting thing is marketing hasn't changed over the decades. The way we market has, but marketing itself, it's still the same principles as it was, 50 years ago, 100 years ago, even, when the first ads came out. So my thing is, take it back to the three core. You've got your right audience, your right message at the right time, and everything feeds off from that. So once you take your message back to those core, who do you talk to? What do you tell them? And when do you tell them, and how often? That's it. That's what marketing is. What makes it so complicated is all the tech and all the stuff and all the moving pieces that people think that they have to do, and all the complications.
It just all depends on the person, right? If you're looking at an individual person in marketing versus a business versus a corporation, it's totally different. But yeah,
absolutely,
those three things, but totally different. And a lot of times people miss the components that what works well for somebody else is not going to work. It's not one size fits all thing, marketing.
Absolutely. It is not one size fits all. And it's not one size fits whatever is the soup of the day either. And take social media, for example. Nothing can get more complicated than social media. And what I tell people is social media is the soundbite. Your website is the full story. So, if you try to be on all the social media platforms at all the same time, it all depends on who your ideal client is and where they hang out and what platforms they're on. If they're not, an 18-year-old gamer or somebody that's looking for skincare on YouTube, maybe YouTube isn't the best place for you. Exactly. Maybe you need to go to LinkedIn if you're talking to corporate people or to business people. Instagram may not be for you if you're not in a visual media. Heaven forbid, that's heresy, that Instagram isn't for everybody. So it really depends on where your ideal client is.
That's true, because a lot of times you're right. It is heresy, meaning like people think one place is going to work. One place will work for somebody else another. One I brought up in the last few interviews is Clubhouse. Clubhouse was the place for me to be 6 months ago, 8 months ago. It's not anymore. And it's a place I go to, just like I'll go to every social media platform, but I don't spend the time I did before on it, because you kind of identify where do you want to go as a business, and where do you want to go and who do you want to see? And you're saying to yourself, don't put your eggs in one basket and that's where you have to diversify, but also find out what works well for you. And that's looking at the conversion, right? As a marketer, right? When you're talking about the three R's of marketing, basically, if you're not going and you're not succeeding using those 3 R's and getting conversions and sales, then you basically need to change your plan, right? Change your strategy.
It's that basic old return on investment. What are you getting the best return of, and where? And if Clubhouse is not where you're getting a return on, except for a time suck, then that's not the place for you to be. But it's interesting, because one thing I think Clubhouse has done is it's identified some good markets. One of my good markets is entrepreneurs over 50. And there's a lot of rooms for entrepreneurs, especially female entrepreneurs over 50. And all of a sudden, it just seemed like everybody was converging there. And it's like, ooh, you felt like you were taking punch. They were like, everybody was out there. And it's like, where'd they all come from?
They all disappeared. And then they disappear. So that's the thing.
Exactly.
Identify and what's now will work now versus later. And if you find your magic thing, which is LinkedIn, stay on LinkedIn. Don't jump on Instagram just to be on Instagram. It's not worth it unless you're going to just say, I want to do it for certain branding reasons. So Lori, best place we can find information on you and learn more about you, where can we go?
Yes, my website is Igniting Your Business, but I have a gift. If you want to find out more about your messy marketing, go to messymarketing.com and download my gift.
All right. We appreciate you coming by, Lori, and thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, Neil. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're listening and watching the Neil Haley Show, and we'll be back in just a moment.